We all know hardcore Minecraft. The difficulty is permanently set to hard, and if you die, the world gets deleted forever. Before we begin, it took me months to make this video because I have an actual life to live, so if you could just take a moment to subscribe, I would really appreciate it. But anyways, enjoy the video. Day 0 was spent punching the wood off of the trees so I could craft a wooden pickaxe to kill a pig. Then I used the rest of the durability to get some cobblestone, and then I made myself a better pickaxe and, of course, a cobblestone axe. Then, after failing the recipe for a cobblestone furnace, I tried cooking my pork chops, but I realized I didn't have a fuel source, so I made some by burning some logs. Then I spent the rest of the day making a dirt house, because everyone should know by now that a dirt house is a tradition for the first day. After running out of dirt, I had to use the dirt from the ground in order to finish the roof, and then I spent the rest of the day strip mining, since I didn't have a bed. Somehow I didn't find anything. And on day 1, I left the dirt house and went exploring, and was able to find some watermelons that were guarded by a skeleton in the nearby jungle. Then I started killing some animals for food. The animals included pigs, cows, and a few sheep. Now that I had killed the sheep, I could use their wool for a bed. I also found some sugarcane, which I could use for paper and, well, sugar. Soon after, I found a cave, but I had only one piece of iron. Seriously. While the iron smelted, I crafted a bed, and before sleeping, I made a shield with the one iron, and then went to sleep on day 1. Day 2, I cooked a little more food and made a leather chestplate, then moved on. And while moving on, I found another cave that had a lot more iron in it. After stuffing my pockets full of iron, I went back to my dirt hut before it got too dark. On day 3, I continued strip mining under my dirt hut and found some iron, and after continuing, I found some diamonds, but they were blocked by my shield, so I didn't notice them at first, but it was still a nice surprise. After making myself an iron pickaxe, I quickly mined them, and they totaled as 8 diamonds. After making 2 more cobblestone pickaxes, I kept strip mining, and I found some lapis and some gold, as well as some more iron. Oh yeah, I also found this geode. I went back to the surface at the end of day 3, and on day 4 I made some armor from the iron I smelted, which meant I was ready for battle. Well, almost. Forgot the iron sword. Then for the rest of day 4, I just cut down some more trees because I was running out of coal for a fuel source, and since I didn't find any while strip mining. I had no idea it would take a whole day though, so I ended day 4. I spent all of day 5 leveling the area next to my house and also half of day 6 expanding and gaining supplies to build my house. Then for the rest of day 6 through 11, I was building my house and also getting supplies. I would show the whole recording of me building this part, but then my audience retention rate might go down, so I took a break to check out a spot in the ocean and found a chest that had a fishing rod enchanted with mending on it. After that, I got back to work on my house, and later I started a garden area under my house and filled it with water. Then, after moving my bed, I finished the roof of my bedroom. I don't care what you guys think of my house. I think it will suit my purpose just fine. It's also better than my usual standards. After admiring, I moved all my valuables and other items into my house, and went to bed on day 11. Day 12, I started making some glass, and while I was waiting, got to work on tilling the soil for my garden, then planting some sugarcane. And after breaking some grass, I got 4 seeds to start planting. By then, the glass was ready, so I started breaking the walls, so I could start placing it around my house. When I finished, I then went strip mining all the way to day 15, and in that time I was able to find some more diamonds, and I decided I would go ahead and make a diamond pickaxe. And after finding a lava pool and turning it into obsidian, I used my new diamond pickaxe to mine it. After getting enough obsidian, I went back to strip mining until I reached Y coordinate -59, since it's the best place to find some more diamonds. Also, it turns out you can find some gold here too. And after I continued, I found some more diamonds that were guarded by some lava. Later, I went back to the surface and built the Nether portal. Unfortunately, I didn't have a flint and steel, so I couldn't light the portal yet. But after I went back to mining, I found some more iron, and after getting some flint, I made myself flint and steel and lit the portal. Day 16, I had a lot of gold, so I made some golden apples, then went right back to strip mining. Day 17, still strip mining, but I was running out of torches, so as a solution, I lit the area behind me with my flint and steel so I could get some light, and by the time it went out, I was far enough that it wouldn't have mattered. After I kept going, I found myself some more diamonds, and the amount here was about 10. And after continuing on, I found some more gold, as well as some more iron. Oh, and some lapis, but nobody really cares. I also found 2 more diamonds right here, which brought the grand total to 22 diamonds. I was so close to getting some armor. Then, I went fishing for the rest of day 17. On day 18, I made an enchantment table before realizing I didn't have a place to put it, so for the rest of day 18 through 19, I gathered supplies to build a 3rd floor to my house. While I was getting supplies, a pillager group came, and I had to go fight them. I'm pretty sure one of them had a piercing crossbow because I swear it was blocking their hits, but I was still taking damage. I had to temporarily retreat, but after I healed up, I went and defeated them. Yep, definitely a piercing crossbow. After defeating them, I got back to building another level of my house, and after I finished the roof, I put my enchantment table in the room. On day 20, I went exploring and found some pumpkins, as well as some more cows to kill for food and leather, and then I found some pigs to kill for even more food. I also found some regular coal, so now I could make some torches. After all that, I was satisfied with exploring and went back home, and cooked my food, because even tigers like cooked food. But before going to bed, I had to place some torches because it was feeling pretty dark on the 3rd floor and I didn't want monsters spawning. Day 21, I lit the tunnels in my mine because I didn't want monsters to start spawning, and then I went back to strip mining. But after a long time, my diamond pickaxe finally broke, so I had to make a cobblestone pickaxe. But after I kept lighting myself on fire with my light strategy, I decided to finally go back up to get my items. Plus my flint and steel was going to break, so I would need more torches anyways. On day 22, I made the torches and got some diamonds so I could make a new pickaxe. Then I went back to strip mining, and after a while I found more diamonds. 10 diamonds. I was satisfied and went back to the surface. But before I could end the day and get to bed, I was spotted by a witch, and despite having the high ground, she still poisoned me. Before I tried to kill her, I went to bed, but sleeping was like trying to sleep with COVID, it just wasn't possible. And after wasting a golden apple, I was finally able to end day 22. In the morning of day 23, I went looking for vengeance against the witch, but she wouldn't stay still. Ah, there we go. Anyways, after depositing my items from the previous day and bringing the diamond grand total to 27, I was about to smelt my iron and gold when I noticed I had a healing potion. The witch hadn't been useless after all. Then I was going to go look for some more sugarcane and leather, but then it started to thunder and lightning. I definitely wasn't interested in fighting large groups of monsters, especially when I almost died to this creeper. Thanks to my quick reflexes, I could continue this video. Day 24, I went exploring again, and I found a village. Unfortunately for the village, I completely forgot that I had the bad omen effect, because my record button was blocking the icon, so I summoned a raid by accident.
The Russians are coming, the pillagers!
I fought off the raid as best I could, along with the iron golem of the village, but I spent way too much time playing on easy mode, and I seriously underestimated just how much damage the pillagers could do, until I ran up to this one pillager. Turns out they do a lot of damage! In order for me to actually defeat this pillager, I ran over to the iron golem and let him do the killing. Unfortunately, accidents happen, and I accidentally shot the iron golem. There was no way I was going to be able to defeat the raid without him, so I had to flee and come back later. So I ran all the way back to my house, and when I got there, I made some more golden apples because I hadn't brought any, and also finally made my diamond armor, but I wanted to wear it more when it was fully enchanted. Day 25, I went and did some gardening, and I got some sugarcane to turn into paper, and after turning them into books, I made a bookshelf and placed it in the enchantment room. And that's pretty much all I did all the way to day 27. In that time, I also made a bow, and started fishing. I fished so that I could pass the time for the crops to grow. I also realized that this was going to be the only way to get XP for a while, until I found a spawner or something else. On day 28, I couldn't take it anymore, so I made a boat so I could explore the ocean. Not long after I cast it off, I found an ocean monument. I didn't want to explore it yet, since I was almost defeated by a single pillager. It would have to be explored another day. After I kept sailing, not far from the ocean monument, I found a ruined portal underwater. So of course I had to loot it. It wasn't anything too interesting, just a flint and steel, a golden apple, and gold pants, but my concern quickly changed to that of the drowned attacking me, and also drowning myself. I didn't find much else underwater, but then I found this new chunk of land that was just asking to be explored. When I did, I was able to find some extra sugarcane, and then later came across a cave with zombies. But zombies have no brains, and so they burned to death after leaving the shelter. It was kind of sad, but then it started to get dark, so I just killed some more sheep so I could make a new bed, because my needs outweigh that of the sheep. Then on day 29, I did some more exploring before setting sail again, but before I made it all the way, my mom called.
Can we take the dishwasher, please?
Okay.
And so I paused the recording. Then I completely forgot which way I was going. Eventually, I was able to return to my base by the end of day 29. Day 30, I made yet another bookshelf for the enchantment room before deciding to try out the enchantment table, but as I thought, they were all pretty trash. Since I didn't have anything else to do, I just went into the Nether so I could get it generated. After I went through, I got out, and I just went right back in. I didn't feel like I was ready to take a risk yet, so I just went fishing again because I still needed more experience levels. But don't worry, by the end of the day, another pillager patrol showed up, so I fought them. I didn't fight them head on though, I just went to the first level of my house and knocked them off when they tried to follow.
Hippity hoppity, get off my property.
Even though I defeated them, I got the bad omen again. I just got rid of that. At least the end of day 30 wasn't completely dull. Because on day 31, all I did was run as I wandered around.
Hey, wait a second. I need leather.
Then I did some more gardening. But on day 32, I built a fence and then went looking for some cows to coax into it. Unfortunately, they weren't spawning as often as when I was killing them, so in order to find them, I had to go to a savanna biome, which was, very far away. Fortunately, I was able to find a few cows. Unfortunately, they walk really slow. I had to go around a lot of ravines and rivers. Fortunately, I was able to get them back before monsters started spawning. On day 33, I went and bred some cows. I also found out you can't breed llamas with wheat, only a hay bale. I wish I had known that before I used the rest of my wheat. Then I went to see what enchantments I could get on the diamond armor, but to no surprise, the enchantments were still terrible. So instead, I decided to enchant my iron armor for better protection, and I actually got better enchantments than I was expecting. I could also enchant my bow, and had to choose between a level 3 power 2 or a level 2 power 2. I decided to get a level 3, with the hopes of getting an extra enchantment. But I didn't, and now I need a way of getting experience faster, because I sure as heck am not going fishing for XP levels. Day 34, I gardened, bred, and got another bookshelf. Please don't click off the video. I finally worked up the courage to go and explore the Nether and enchanted a new iron sword with sharpness 2 on it. Then a golden helmet with unbreaking 2, and protection 2, which wasn't too bad, using what levels I still had. But before I could go through the portal, it got rainy. Busy day. So I decided I would go to bed first, and then go to the Nether the next day. As an extra precaution, I also made myself a new shield, since the one I had was going to break soon. After putting on my gold helmet, I entered the portal again. Even though I didn't spawn over a pool of lava, I still didn't like where I spawned, a soul sand valley. I was going to move very slowly here. Now you may notice that there is no audio in this part of the video. That is because the sound got scuffed, so I had to mute it and just show the video. I also just wanted to show that cool clip too. I also needed more experience levels, so what better way to get it than by mining some quartz. I also mined some gold nuggets, but what felt like a lot turned out to only be about a stack and a half, which is equivalent to 10 ingots. After bartering with the piglins, I got absolutely nothing good. Well, I guess I did get some spectral arrows, but I was more interested in potions. After bartering yielded no better items, I scouted some places for mining netherite.
That should be a good spot over there.
Then I went back to the portal, and it turns out some zombie piglins wanted to explore the overworld. But on day 36, this happened.
Who's there? Chew who? Okay, just don't break my door.
As it turns out, they can also break down doors in hardcore. I didn't want to kill it for obvious reasons, even though I wanted to. Then I found the other one breaking down the door to my dirt house. But anyways, since I was going to go strip mining for netherite, I knew I would need something to strip mine with, so I built a fence to put sheep in so I could get wool to make tons of beds. After struggling to decide the size of the pen, I got some wheat from my garden, then began looking for some sheep. But after finding some, it got dark. This time, I brought a bed to sleep on. And so on day 37, after picking up my bed, I continued coaxing, and some cows decided to follow me too for some reason. Unfortunately for the sheep, some wolves came and started killing all my sheep, and I couldn't do anything about it. I even tried taming them, but it was bent on killing the sheep. At least I was able to tame some in the end. After bringing them back to my house, I went back out to find some more sheep, and by the end of the day, they were in their pen. Day 38 was kind of boring. The only highlight I really had was killing this one skeleton. Then I basically did the same thing I'd done on previous days. But before going to bed, killed this one creeper. That is how boring the day was. On day 39, I knew I'd put it off long enough. I really needed to go mining, since I was just about out of iron. After mining for a very long time, I finally went back to the surface on day 41. Then, after getting back to my house, I put my iron into the furnaces to smelt, and made another chest to put my items in. I don't really remember why, I had plenty of room in my other chests for items. But hey, listen! Microsoft seems to have fixed the problem with their recording program scuffing the sound. You can hear me gardening, breeding, and also finally tearing down this dirt pillar that's just sort of been here since I first admired my house. Yeah, it hasn't really been much of an interesting rest of the day. Day 42, I kept smelting my iron and was able to eventually get enough to make some iron blocks in order to make an anvil. Then I made some more books to turn into bookshelves and then placed them in the enchantment room, as per usual. Then I smelted some copper to make a spyglass and a lightning rod, but I forgot how to make a lightning rod. After searching it up, I found I only needed 3 copper ingots. Come on, it looked like it needed a copper block, just look at it. Then I hung up some glowberries and then started breeding every animal I could see, which included my dogs, my sheep, and of course the cows, although I did kill a few too. Then I crafted some iron doors, but before putting them down I had to go to bed, so on day 43 I made the stone buttons to place next to the iron doors. I mostly just wanted to keep out the zombie piglets, well, and regular zombies. Then I tried out my new spyglass. Since I didn't have Optifine, this would be a good substitute. Then I got an iron ingot to make myself a new shovel. Then I started breaking some gravel and then replacing it and breaking it again. I wanted to be able to get some arrows, so I placed and broke several times, and by the end of it I was able to get 9 flint. This was going to take a while, so I took a break to shear some more sheep, because I wanted to go strip mining for netherite soon, and blowing up beds is the fastest way. Then I noticed my sugarcane had grown some more, so I harvested it once again and made another bookshelf. I was so close to level 30. Just one more shelf. Day 44, I just went right back to shearing the sheep. They weren't going to shear themselves. You know, I should really just leave out days like this. I'll bet you guys aren't interested. Then I decided that I needed to add a little more excitement in this video, so I took my diamond armor and a dog and went exploring. I found quite a lot of caves. I also needed some feathers, so me and my dog killed some chickens for feathers. It did, of course, get dark, so I slept outside in the open with my dog as protection. Day 45, I picked back up my bed and continued exploring. Did you know that lapis can be found on the surface now? Because I didn't. After I kept exploring, I spotted another village. I thought this might have been the same one I brought a raid to, but when I got closer, there were no pillagers, and the iron golem didn't try to kill me. It was definitely a different village. But when I looked around the area some more, I spotted an outpost not too far away. Well, in case they did end up coming, I had my diamond armor with me. But anyways, I began looting the village and I found a lot of bread and some emeralds in each of the chests. And after spending the night in one of the houses, on day 46, I went looking for a librarian, but I didn't end up finding one. However, I did find some paper, and so I took the paper and made some books, and then made a bookshelf for a lectern. I totally didn't need to look up the recipe.
What the dog doing?
Anyways, then I went to one of the houses and retrieved the fletching table, then moved it to the center of the village. I needed a fletcher that would buy my sticks because I wasn't sure of any other way for getting emeralds quickly. After crafting some more sticks, I went to the fletcher and sold the sticks to him. Then I made myself a new axe and began lowering real estate value so I could get some extra wood for sticks. Then I made and sold more sticks to the Fletcher, went to the librarian to check the enchantment after having placed the lectern earlier, replaced it again, then checked the enchantment of the librarian once again, replaced the lectern once again, and I just sort of did that all the way to day 50. The sped up video footage that I have here was only about 2 of the Minecraft days, and I had to edit through all of this. Since I have so much time right now, I guess I should remind you to hit that subscribe button, because why wouldn't you? You've watched this far, and I've almost given up on this whole video several times. Also, here's a random fact. Did you know that in order to get people to watch movies, they have to post advertisements more than one time? That way, when a movie is coming out, the message will sink in. Maybe that's why YouTubers keep reminding people to subscribe. But finally, on day 50, after trading my sticks to the Fletcher again, I went over to the librarian and...
Mending! Yes!
Oh, that's expensive.
Bruh.
After looting the village for some paper, I made a book to trade with the librarian, using the emeralds I had already. Then for the rest of day 50 to 55, I chopped some more trees to get more wood and sold more sticks to the Fletcher, then planted a few tree saplings and then sold more sticks to the Fletcher. Then killed a cow for leather and made a few more books and traded more books and emeralds to the librarian. Believe me when I say that several acres of trees had to die to get me these mending books. I wonder what the Fletcher does with all these sticks. I also grew some more sugarcane to make more paper since I left all my other sugarcane back at my house. Then I killed a few more animals for leather. While cutting down trees, my axe kept breaking, and so I have to keep wasting a few sticks to make more axes. A lot of axes had to die for these sticks I'm selling to this stupid Fletcher. And after wasting a few emeralds and arrows to get fire resistance arrows, I went to bed on day 54. And on day 55, I bought my final mending book. After gathering up all of my books, in the morning of day 56, I finally traveled back home. I was over 1,000 blocks away though, so it took a while. Finally, that took forever. After getting back, I deposited my armor and the books into my valuables chest, and I didn't really do much else the rest of the day, so I went to bed. My notes from day 57 said I'd place the final shelf in the enchantment room, but here's me just standing here instead, because no one would be interested in watching me place stuff. Anyways, after I got my armor and some lapis, I enchanted my diamond boots with Prot 4, and in addition, I got Depth Strider 3 and Unbreaking 3. And that was literally the only thing I did this entire day. Day 58, I took my pickaxe and enchanted it with Efficiency 4, and then I took one of my mending books and combined it. But now I needed a way to get more experience levels, so I went into my strip mine to get XP from the redstone that I'd left when I was strip mining before. But after going by the lava pool that I got obsidian from, I found a much larger cave system behind it that I hadn't explored yet. After going down one tunnel, I kid you not, there was a spawner. After I somewhat looted the dungeon, I wrote down the coordinates, and that's when I realized that the spawner was right next to the lava pool. It had been here the whole time, and I had no idea. Anyways, for the rest of day 59 through 60, I got to work building the farm. It took a while because I hadn't really made an actual mob farm yet in this edition. Later, I had to go to the surface to get some supplies to continue building it. I made some signs to block the water from pushing me away from the kill chamber, and for some reason I decided to make some ladders. When I got the signs placed, to finish up, I broke the torches to allow the skeletons to start spawning again. For some reason, my dog showed up, and after a skeleton successfully dropped into the death chamber, my dog suddenly started trying to take its bones. I tried to help, but I think I made it worse for the dog. But don't worry, pet lovers, I made sure to heal the dog afterwards with some rotten flesh and some pork chops. Now that I had a working experience farm, I finally made a diamond sword to enchant. After checking to see what enchantments I could get, they were all lousy. I went to bed on day 60. On day 61 through 63, I went experience grinding, and you would not believe how long it takes for just one skeleton to drop down. It takes about 4 minutes for a large group of skeletons to come, and after killing them all, I can gain like 1 level. Just 1. This may take a while. I wonder what all the fuss is about these spawners. They seem pretty slow. But finally, I was able to get level 31. However, I couldn't find any good enchantments, so I had to change the enchantments by enchanting some books. And after getting 3 new low-level enchantments, I finally found a sharpness enchantment for my sword. Unfortunately, I ran out of experience levels, so now I just need to get enough experience levels to enchant my new sword. Phew. I returned to the surface on day 65 and enchanted my new sword with sharpness 4, and then I put mending onto it. And guess what I did from day 65 to 67? Of course I went experience grinding. What else would I be doing? Day 68 I went enchanting and I got a helmet with Prot 3, and after getting my enchantment book that also had Prot 3, I combined it to get Prot 4. Day 69 I went back to killing. Look, I'm sorry, maybe I'll put a meme here or something just to keep things interesting. On day 70 I was bored, but I had a lot of bones, so instead of AFKing, I just bone-wheeled glowbears for pretty much all of day 70. But by the end of the day I was attacked from all sides by phantoms, which is extremely annoying. But on day 71 they all died. Unfortunately, the sound quality was terrible, but it was still very satisfying watching them burn to death. Anyways, on day 71 I realized this video was almost over and I still wanted netherite armor, so I sheared my sheep once again so I could make enough beds to blow up. I also got myself some extra food and some wood logs. I then emptied my inventory of all the items I didn't really need, and then grabbed my diamond armor. I wasn't really worried that it wasn't fully enchanted, it was still a step up from my iron armor and offered way better protection. After making myself a new shield and putting on my gold helmet, I entered the nether portal once again. This time though, I made sure to write down the coordinates to the portal. Then almost immediately a ghast started trying to kill me, but after several attempts at returning to sender, I was eventually able to get it, and get my first big achievement. Half past kill time, time to kill again. After mining some gold nuggets, I began digging down. After getting low enough, I crafted some wood to make some beds so I could... Then I bridged to the other side, dug a bit, and blew up another bed and found some ancient debris, but then kept going, but had a bit of trouble finding more. After not finding more, I guess I better cue the montage. I had to go through 13 beds to find this vein of only 2 ancient debris! From then on, I had a varying degree of success in finding stuff. Sometimes I would find some debris, and sometimes I would find only death. If only I had a fire resistance potion. But the most dangerous part was when I was clumsy and accidentally broke the block under me. Thank goodness for this diamond armor. That was close.
Are you recording so I can be like, son, get going, live your life, do something with yourself.
Eventually I completely ran out of wool, so I started digging up, but luckily I found a final ancient debris. And after conveniently digging up between lava, I opened my inventory long enough to show that I had 20 ancient debris, which was enough for a full set of netherite armor and 1 netherite weapon. And no netherite pickaxe. A diamond pickaxe with efficiency 4 is all I really need, because those things are ridiculously fast. On the way back, I traded with a few piglins. I got ripped off still, though at least I got an achievement this time. Then I was attacked by a ghast again. This time, there was 2. And you'll never believe what happened here. When I was fighting those 2, and no, I didn't die, one of the ghasts went behind the other and hit the other with a fireball. What are the odds? I need to get an achievement from that. I still managed to take them out, by the way. Then as I tried to find my way to the portal, I didn't learn my lesson and traded a little more with piglins, still getting no potions, and managed to finally find the portal and exit the Nether. But just before ending day 76, I put my debris in the furnace, then went to bed. On day 77, I took the netherite scraps from the furnaces and used the gold I also got from the nether to turn them into ingots. I didn't put them on my armor yet because I wasn't done enchanting them. And speaking of enchantments, I can't seem to get any good enchantments on my armor. I've already tried changing them using books. And speaking of enchantments, my pickaxe is looking a little low. So do you know where I went? Look, I'm sorry, but there just isn't a faster way for getting XP at the moment. I realized I had a lot of bows from skeletons, so on day 78 I enchanted another new bow with the Power 3 enchantment, and also enchanted another book. But I was able to get a Protection 4 enchantment option for the chestplate at last. But I didn't have level 30 anymore, so I went back to grinding. Day 79, I'm still grinding for XP. I wanted level 33 so I would be able to enchant my diamond pants as well. I didn't really care what they got as long as the chestplate was the better protection. Day 80, I contradicted myself and stopped at level 31. But before going up, I grabbed my large pile of arrows because they're too useful of an item to just leave behind. Then I got my Prot 4 chestplate. I was going to enchant my leggings too, but there was still no Prot of any level. At this point, I would have been happy with the Prot 3. But don't worry, I found a faster way of getting XP. I found that by breeding all of the animals, and killing some, I was actually able to get XP way faster. The only problem was that I ran out of wheat too fast, but luckily the skeletons drop a lot of bones. And in the morning of day 81 I had level 30, which was enough for me to get another enchantment book, but I still couldn't get anything for my pants, so I bred some more animals so I could get some more XP. But even after changing the enchantment again, and getting an efficiency book, I still couldn't get a prot option. This is your fault, sheep! Day 82, I went to the skeleton spawner and grabbed all the bones so I could make a lot of bone meal and grow more wheat. And for some reason, my dog came with me. I don't really know why. And on day 83, I pretty much did the same thing I've been doing the last 2 days. On day 84, I couldn't wait any longer. I just chose an Unbreaking 3 enchantment, and as it turns out, it came with Prot 3, and that was good enough for me. This meant I could finally put mending on all of my armor since I didn't have enough experience to do it before. Then I got my netherite from the chest and put it all on my armor. And got the achievement. And I have to say, I look pretty good in netherite armor. I didn't make my diamond sword netherite yet because it wasn't fully enchanted, and I also wasn't sure whether I wanted to make a netherite axe instead, since those things are pretty powerful. Oh, and I also used my last diamond to make a jukebox. I wanted to play some in-game music. Oh, and I also went breeding so I could fix my armor. It was looking pretty low. Day 85, I upgraded my bow so I could go to the Nether. It's a tradition to defeat the Ender Dragon at the end of a video after all. Since I didn't know which way to look for a fortress, I just chose a direction and stuck with it, and bartered with some piglins on the way. This time I got a soul speed enchantment, and it's about dang time. After I began tunneling through the netherrack wall, since it was in the way, out of pure luck, I found the fortress. I wasn't completely sure until I got the achievement. How in the world does this sort of thing happen to me? After going down the, hall, I found a blaze spawner. Correction, I found 2 blaze spawners, but I only used one of them. This one. After farming blaze rods for a while, I continued exploring the fortress and found some chests with some diamond horse armor, nether warts, iron, and actual diamonds. I was glad to find them, since I used my last diamond for a jukebox. Anyways, after getting one more blaze rod, I started traveling back to the portal. But before actually entering the portal, I gathered some brown mushrooms so I could make fermented spider eye. After going through the portal, I found a zombie piglin on the other side. Well, I got some iron doors, so he can do as he pleases. After getting the potion station set up, and since it was raining but there was still light, I figured this would be a good time to go hunt for some spiders. But then I decided for some reason to get a disc instead, so I trapped a creeper in a boat and lured a skeleton over to kill it. It was a little tricky since it kept moving, but I got my first disc, Stal. While I was trying to get another disc, and struggling, my friend Trace Arcade finally joined me. After finishing up with getting a skeleton to kill another creeper, and getting the disc Malohai, I grabbed my old iron armor and made an entirely new set so I could combine it to repair it. Then gave it to him. I don't have to be alone anymore. Anyways, early in the morning of day 89, I filled some potion bottles and made a fermented spider eye so I could start making a potion of weakness because I wanted to cure a villager to get a cleric. But when I went out to get another spider eye, a creeper blew a hole in the sheep pen, and they started leaking out. I couldn't fix it fast enough, the sheep kept getting in the way, I didn't have any more fences, and a skeleton kept shooting me in the back. By the time I did fix the leak, I only had a few dozen sheep left behind the fence, and I had to kill all the remaining sheep because they were just making a mess of my lawn. Well, on the bright side, at least I still have all my cows. Anyways, after that debacle, I went back to trying to make a weakness potion, but after making the awkward potion and even getting ahead of myself by turning the bottles into splash bottles, I couldn't figure out why the potions wouldn't brew. So I figured since a tiger represents strength, and since I had blaze powder, I would make a splash potion of strength instead. But now I needed to make some more potion bottles, and after filling them up, I found out that I didn't need to make awkward potions when making weakness potions. I only needed a fermented spider eye. I definitely played too much Bedrock Minecraft. But in the evening, once they were turned into splash potions, I finally had a weakness potion. Oh, and in case you were wondering where Trace Arcade went, he apparently found a treasure chest nearby that I apparently didn't see before, and so that's where he got all this loot. That night, we were confident, and so we went looking for zombie villagers, which probably wasn't a very good idea for Trace, but instead I got distracted when I got two creepers together in a boat. When I was trying to lure a skeleton that was shooting me over to them, I heard an explosion and saw a message in the chat. No! Now I'm all alone again. Why? I kind of lost interest in getting more discs. After gathering up most of Trace's items that he left behind before going to Pittsburgh, I began to seek vengeance and a zombie villager, but after a while, gave up. This is your fault, monsters. If it hadn't been for you, Trace Arcade would still be alive. In the morning of day 90, I went back to my house because I'd actually forgotten to empty my inventory of Trace's items, so I'd actually carried his items the whole night. Once my inventory was more roomy, I decided that today I was going to try to defeat the raid I summoned on that village several days ago. Now that I had netherite armor and a diamond sword, I was hopeful that I would be victorious. When I arrived, the raid was still going, as if I never left. Unfortunately, this time they had a Ravager, and they do a ridiculous amount of damage, even in netherite armor. I got flashbacks from the first time I fought them, and so retreated to the water. Excuse me for being careful, but the water slowed their movement, and I was able to shoot them with my bow. After they were gone, I had an idea. I would build up to a house and just shoot them with my bow. But the problem was they were ridiculously fast and unpredictable. I missed them several times and could barely land a hit on them. Eventually, I was able to defeat the wave, but then the next one had even more raiders who were even faster. To make matters worse, the witches were throwing potions and healing the raiders I could barely hit. But then I spotted an evoker. I decided that I would snipe him and get the Totem of Undying, since that would most likely save my life. And the next time I came back to fight, I would bring my potions. I should have brought the strength potions I made. Plus, third time's a charm. Oh, and before people start making fun of me in the comments, before the night was over, I was passing through the savanna biome, and to my great joy, I found a zombie villager. I brought him under a tree so he wouldn't burn up, and then trapped him in a boat so he wouldn't despawn. Before I cured it, though, I needed a brewing stand to ensure the villager became a cleric. After going home and grabbing some rotten flesh and crafting a new brewing stand, I returned to the zombie in the morning of day 91 and cured it. While the villager was in the process of getting cured, I built a wall around him so that he wouldn't get zombified again. When he was cured, I sold my rotten flesh for 1 emerald. Then I sold him back the emerald for some redstone. I just needed to get him leveled up. After trying to find some zombies during the day for some reason, I knew I wouldn't get enough rotten flesh, so I tried to find the village I got the mending books from to trade some sticks. But I lost the piece of paper I wrote the coordinates on, so after wandering for most of the day and not finding the village, I knew I had to find another way to get emeralds. So in the night of day 91, I went out to kill some zombies for their flesh. Unfortunately, since I hadn't slept for a while, there were phantoms everywhere. That's why you need to sleep at night. But I realized there was no way I was going to get enough items to trade and level up the cleric in time. In the morning of day 92, I decided that I wanted to build a raid farm, so after going on YouTube and looking up videos about raid farms, I found one by Chapman Farms, so I went all the way back to my house and got the supplies that were shown in the tutorial. The items included cobblestone slabs, signs, chests, hoppers, shovels for digging, a strength potion just for preparedness, some buckets with 1, maybe 2, containing lava. On day 93, I ran back to the villager with all the supplies I needed. The tutorial also required me to have a flat 50 blocks in all directions, so please enjoy this montage of me leveling. By the time I got the land flat enough, it was the middle of day 97, so I began work on the actual farm. I won't give too much detail on how to build it because this was Chapman's tutorial, so I'll leave a link to his video in the description in case you want to check him out. Also, there's not really enough time to give instructions as to how to build the farm. This video is already too long, and I'm not doing another montage right after another montage. Unless you were to slow down each of these clips, but I would assume everyone would rather just watch the tutorial. And I'm definitely not just stalling so I can fit in each of these clips, but finally on day 99 the farm was done. So then I went to the pillager outpost I found a while ago, since I found the piece of paper I wrote the coordinates on, and went looking for a pillager with the banner. After killing a lot of pillagers, and trying to free an iron golem in a cage, I finally found one that had a banner. This is the first time in the whole video that I got the bad omen effect on purpose. Before I left though, I went to the top of the tower and looked through the chests, and one of them had a horn called Sing. That was completely unexpected. While I rushed back to the farm, for some reason I found 2 other villages. Why is it I always find them when I have the bad omen effect? I got back when the sun began to rise and end day 99, so on day 100, I began farming a raid, and the farm worked flawlessly. I could one-shot each of them. By the end of the raid, I got an achievement, 21 emeralds, and 5 totems of undying.
Nice.
I grabbed them and rushed back to my house, because I was hoping to watch the sunset, but I didn't make it in time, so instead I put my totems in a chest and started playing the disc Stal on this glorious evening.